How many times have you bent over backward for someone only to be ignored, used, or completely unappreciated? How often have you said yes when you wanted to say no, just to keep the peace, to be liked, or to avoid conflict? And in the end, what did it get you? Respect? No. Fulfillment? No. Just exhaustion and the realization that being kind to everyone doesn't make you a better person, it makes you an easier target. We've been told since childhood, be nice to everyone. But what they never told us is that kindness, when given freely and without limits, loses its value. That's why today I'm here to tell you, stop being kind to everyone. Because not everyone deserves it. Not everyone values it. And most importantly, kindness without boundaries doesn't make you noble, it makes you invisible. We've all heard it a million times. Be kind to everyone. Sounds good, right? Makes you feel like a good person, like you're doing the right thing. But let me ask you something. How's that working out for you? How many times have you given someone your time, your effort, your patience, only to get nothing in return? How many times have you extended kindness to someone who turned around and used it against you? If kindness was all it took to make life work, then the kindest people in the world would be the happiest, the most successful, the most respected, but we all know that's not how it plays out. The truth is, kindness should be earned, not handed out like free samples at a grocery store. When you give it to everyone, no matter how they treat you, it stops being kindness, it becomes a weakness. And people will take advantage of that. Some will see your kindness as an open door, a free pass to use you whenever it suits them. Others will see it as an invitation to push your limits, to take what they can without ever giving anything back. And then there are those who simply won't respect you because they know you'll always be nice no matter what they do. That's not the kind of life you want to live. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying to go out and be rude, cold, or harsh. What I'm saying is that your kindness should mean something. It should hold weight. And that only happens when you stop giving it away to people who don't value it. If someone constantly disrespects you, ignores your needs, or treats you as an afterthought, why are you still showing them kindness? What are you hoping to prove? That you're a good person? That you're different? That eventually they'll see your worth and change? Let me save you some time. They won't. Because the problem isn't that they don't see your kindness. The problem is they don't care. The people who matter in your life, the ones who genuinely respect you, who appreciate you, those are the ones who deserve your kindness. And when you start being selective, when you start reserving your kindness for those who earned it, you'll notice something incredible. You'll notice that your kindness becomes more powerful. It starts to mean something. When you're kind to everyone, it's expected. It's just what you do. But when your kindness has a standard, when people have to earn it, it carries real weight. It's appreciated. It's respected. And that's when kindness becomes a strength, not a weakness. I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't want to change who I am. I don't want to be someone who withholds kindness. Let me tell you something. You're not changing who you are. You're changing how you allow yourself to be treated. And there's a huge difference. If you've spent your whole life trying to be kind to everyone, trying to be the person who never says no, who never walks away, then ask yourself, where has it gotten you? Are you fulfilled? Are you respected? Do you feel valued? Or do you feel drained, overlooked, taken for granted? If it's the latter, then maybe it's time for a change. Let me tell you something I've learned. The people who truly matter will never stop respecting you just because you start setting boundaries. In fact, they'll respect you more because real relationships, real connections aren't built on one person constantly giving while the other takes. They're built on mutual respect, mutual effort, and mutual appreciation. And if someone can't handle the fact that you're no longer willing to give your kindness for free, then they were never worthy of it in the first place. Life is too short to waste your kindness on people who don't value it. It's too short to keep giving your best to those who only offer you their worst. So stop. Stop being kind to everyone. Start being kind to the right ones. And watch how everything changes. How many times have you said yes when every part of you wanted to say no? How often have you swallowed your feelings just to keep the peace. How many times have you ignored your own needs to make sure someone else was comfortable? And at the end of the day, after all that effort, did it bring you peace? Or did it just leave you drained, frustrated, and wondering why no one seems to care about your boundaries? We've been taught that being kind means being accommodating, that it means always making room for others, always putting their needs first, always making sure we're not the reason for someone else's discomfort. And for a while, that might feel right. It might feel like we're doing the right thing. But eventually we start to notice something. We notice that the more we give, the more people take. The more we say yes, the more they expect. The more we put others first, the further down the list we fall. Until one day, we realize that we've spent so much time making space for others that we don't even have a place for ourselves anymore. Let me tell you something that might be hard to hear. If you're always available, if you never say no, if you constantly prioritize everyone else over yourself, that people will assume it's because you don't have limits. They will assume you don't mind. And the worst part, it won't be their fault. It'll be yours, because you're the one who taught them that your time, your energy, your well-being, none of it requires protection. You taught them that you don't need boundaries. And if you don't respect your own boundaries, why should they? Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to disappoint anyone. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you worried about disappointing yourself? When was the last time you stopped to consider that every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to your own peace? Every time you accommodate someone else at the expense of your own well-being, you're teaching yourself that your comfort doesn't matter, that your time isn't valuable, that your needs come second. And if that's the message you're sending to yourself, why are you surprised when other people start believing it too? There's nothing noble about being a doormat. There's nothing virtuous about letting people walk all over you in the name of kindness. True kindness doesn't mean sacrificing yourself for others. It means respecting yourself enough to know when to walk away. It means understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. It means realizing that being a good person doesn't mean being a person who never says enough. Some people will test you. They will push to see how far they can go, how much they can take, how little they can give before you finally push back. And if you never push back, if you never set boundaries, if you never demand the respect you deserve, then don't expect them to offer it freely. People treat you based on the standard you set for yourself. If you act like your time doesn't matter, they'll assume it doesn't. If you act like you're always available, they'll assume you are. And if you act like your boundaries don't exist, they'll assume they don't need to be respected. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh. It's not about being rude. It's about protecting the most valuable thing you have: your peace, your time, your energy. And if someone gets upset because you refuse to let them take advantage of those things, then that tells you everything you need to know about their intentions. People who truly care about you, who truly respect you, will never walk away just because you started valuing yourself. And if they do, let them. Because the people who leave when you stop bending over backward for them were never there for the right reasons in the first place. Some of you might be thinking, but what if people don't like me if I start setting boundaries? And my question to you is, what's the point of being liked if it comes at the cost of your own well-being? What's the point of being accepted if you have to abandon yourself in the process? If someone only values you when you're giving, when you're accommodating, when you're bending to their will, do they really value you, or do they just value what they can get from you? You don't owe anyone constant access to your time and energy. You don't have to be available every time someone calls. You don't have to say yes just because someone asks. You don't have to be everything for everyone just to feel like you're enough. You were enough before anyone needed anything from you. And you will still be enough after you start protecting yourself the way you should have been all along. Stop apologizing for having limits. Stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first. Stop thinking that kindness means sacrificing yourself for people who wouldn't do the same for you. Real kindness starts with how you treat yourself, and watch how quickly everything changes. We grow up believing that being nice is the key to being liked, to being accepted, to being respected. We're told that if we're kind enough, patient enough, understanding enough, people will appreciate us, value us, and treat us well. But at some point, life teaches us a very different lesson. A lesson that's hard to swallow at first, but impossible to ignore once you've seen it for yourself. Being too nice doesn't earn you respect. It often does the exact opposite. How many times have you bitten your tongue to avoid conflict? How often have you let something slide just to keep the peace? How many moments have you let go? How much mistreatment have you excused, all in the name of being the bigger person? And at the end of it all, did those people respect you more for it? Or did they just learn that you're someone who won't stand up for yourself? There's a hard truth that a lot of people don't like to admit. People respect strength more than they respect kindness. Not cruelty, not aggression, not arrogance, but strength. The strength to stand your ground. The strength to say no. The strength to make it clear that you won't tolerate disrespect. Because when you're too nice, when you constantly put others ahead of yourself, when you refuse to assert yourself, when you let people cross the line over and over again, what you think is kindness, they see as weakness. And the world doesn't reward weakness. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been in situations where you thought that if you just kept being kind, if you just kept proving that you're a good person, eventually people would appreciate you. Eventually they'd stop taking advantage of you. Eventually they'd realize they were wrong. But that's not how it works, is it? What really happened was that the more you tolerated, the more they pushed. The more you excused, the more they took. Because that's how people operate. They don't respect what comes too easily. And if you don't demand respect, if you don't show people that you are someone who will stand up for yourself, they won't offer it freely. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should go around being rude, being aggressive, being heartless. But what I am saying is that there's a balance. There's a point where kindness turns into self-sabotage, where being too nice stops being a good thing and starts being the very thing that's holding you back. And if you're someone who always goes out of your way to be nice, to avoid confrontation, to be the one who smooths things over, ask yourself, are you truly being kind or are you just afraid? Afraid of upsetting people, afraid of conflict, afraid of what might happen if you finally stand up and say, enough. Because here's what happens when you start standing your ground. Some people will get uncomfortable. Some people won't like it. Some people will push back, try to make you feel guilty, try to make you second guess yourself. And you know why? Because they benefited from your silence. They benefited from your inability to say no. They liked the version of you who always gave in, who never spoke up, who made their life easier at the cost of your own. But let me tell you something. If someone's only comfortable with you when you're easy to manipulate, they never respected you in the first place. The people who truly matter, the ones who are worth keeping in your life, they won't leave just because you start demanding respect. They won't walk away just because you stop letting them take advantage of you. In fact, they'll respect you more. Because real respect isn't built on someone always being nice. It's built on knowing where the line is, knowing that you're not someone to be walked over, knowing that your kindness isn't a weakness, it's a choice that you make for the right people, in the right situations, at the right time. I know some of you might be thinking, but what if people think I'm mean? What if they don't like me anymore? Let me ask you something. What's more important, being liked or being respected? Because if you're living your life just to be liked by everyone, then you're living on other people's terms, not your own. And at some point you have to decide, would you rather be liked for being someone who bends and breaks for everyone, or respected for being someone who stands tall and demands to be treated with dignity. Respect is earned, and it's earned by showing people that you are not afraid to stand up for yourself, that you will not tolerate being treated as less than you deserve, that your kindness is not an invitation for mistreatment. And the moment you make that shift, the moment you start carrying yourself like someone who commands respect instead of begging for it, everything changes. People take notice. People start treating you differently because you are different, because you finally see yourself as someone worthy of that respect. So stop being afraid of disappointing people. Stop worrying about whether everyone likes you. Start focusing on whether you like the way you're being treated, and if you don't, change it. Because at the end of the day, it's not kindness that earns you respect. It's the strength to know when to stop being kind. Think about the people in your life right now, the ones you give your time to, your energy to, your kindness to. Now ask yourself, do they deserve it? Do they appreciate it? Or have you been giving away your kindness to people who wouldn't do the same for you? We don't like to admit it, but not everyone in our lives values what we offer. Some people take because they can. Some people keep us around because we're useful, not because they truly care. And some people, they don't even notice the kindness we give because they've never had to earn it. It's just expected. It's just something we do. And that's where the problem starts. Because when kindness is handed out freely to anyone and everyone, it loses its meaning. It stops being something special. It stops being something people cherish. And instead it just becomes something they assume will always be there. But let me ask you this. If you had something rare, something valuable, something precious, would you give it away to just anyone? Would you let people take it without a second thought? No. You'd protect it. You'd make sure it was in the hands of someone who understood its worth. And that's exactly how you should treat your kindness. Not as something to be thrown around carelessly, but as something to be given carefully, intentionally, and only to those who deserve it. Some of you might be thinking, but kindness shouldn't have conditions. We should be kind to everyone. And I get it. We've been taught that kindness is this limitless thing that we should give without expecting anything in return. But let me tell you something. When you give kindness without limits, without standards, without making sure the person on the receiving end values it, you're not being kind. You're being careless with yourself. And when you're careless with yourself, you end up drained. You end up exhausted. You end up wondering why you feel empty when you've spent so much time trying to be good to everyone else. Not everyone deserves your kindness. And that's not a cruel thing to say. It's just the truth. Because kindness isn't just about how you treat others, it's also about how you treat yourself. And if you're constantly giving to people who take you for granted, if you're constantly showing up for people who wouldn't do the same for you, then you're not being kind, you're letting yourself be used. And that's not noble. That's not something to be proud of. That's something that needs to change. Think about the strongest relationships in your life, the people who truly matter. The ones who would be there for you no matter what. The ones who respect you, appreciate you, see your kindness as a gift, not a given. Now compare them to the people who only show up when they need something. The ones who disappear the moment you stop being useful. The ones who expect you to always be there, but never offer the same in return. Tell me, do they deserve the same level of kindness? Do they deserve the same level of effort? Or is it time to start being more selective with where you invest your heart? When you start being selective, when you stop giving your kindness to just anyone, something amazing happens. The right people, the people who truly matter, start to rise to the surface. The ones who reciprocate, who appreciate, who make you feel valued, those are the relationships that get stronger. Those are the connections that deepen. And the ones who are only there for convenience, they fade away. And that's exactly what needs to happen. Because you don't need people in your life who only value you when it benefits them. You need people who value you, period. Some of you might be afraid of what will happen if you stop being overly kind to everyone. Afraid that people will leave, that they'll think you've changed. that they won't like you anymore. And you know what? Some of them will leave. Some of them will decide they don't want to be around you anymore. But here's the truth. If someone only liked you because you never said no, because you always put them first, because you let them walk all over you, then losing them isn't a loss. It's a gain of self-respect, of peace, of freedom from people who never really saw your worth in the first place. The right people will stay. The right people will respect the fact that you have limits, that your kindness is valuable, that it's not something to be used, but something to be cherished. And those are the people who deserve your time. Those are the people who deserve your energy. Those are the people who deserve you. So stop giving your kindness to everyone. Start giving it to the right ones. And watch how quickly your world changes.